Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we are going to be looking at the weekly reading for the sign of Taurus. We are going to be going over November 17th to the 23rd. And we're going to get right into it, Taurus. My regulars already know we're going to pull out 3 romance angel messages for you to see what your relationships may or may not be resonating with, or what the messages are from the romance angel messages for you this week, Taurus. And then we'll get into your animal spirits. Romantic feelings. Having very romantic feelings. Honeymoon. And you have healing family issues. Alright, Taurus, we won't really know what that means for you until we get into your spread. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to pull out your animal spirits. And the animal spirits can let us know what kind of energy you may or may not be resonating with, or the people you're dealing with this week may or may not be resonating with. It can also indicate a period of time or stage in your life that's beginning to start or end. Okay, guys? So let's get right into it. For my lovely Taurus for November 17th to the 23rd, you want to know what kind of animal spirits you're going to be resonating with. All right, show me. And some of you may see orbs in my video. They have been coming out a lot lately. It's just a sign of the intensification of the energies towards this period of year. Oyster, water energy coming in. We have moth, air energy. And we have hyena, fire energy. Hyena hasn't shown up for quite some time. Let's get into it. That's quite interesting. All right, guys? Again, let's start with your first one, which is, of course, the oyster. Oyster energy talks about hidden things that are hidden. The oyster is the great secret keeper of secrets, right? The oyster has something really special to show to the world, and it's time to show it, right? It's something that is very special, or something that is a great quality of theirs that is time to show the world. It's time to come out, you know? And this is what oyster is all about. And what do we normally see inside an oyster shell? A pearl. And pearl is very, very beautiful. And so in this way, time to increase your confidence, right? Time to reveal who you truly are, you know, who you truly are inside, not to be afraid of that, because who you really are is a beautiful thing. And again, the oyster is also the great keeper of secrets, so you may be dealing with someone who you're able to confide in, or someone may be able to confide in you, Taurus, and you may be keeping a great secret for someone, or a secret may be revealed in a particular scenario or a relationship, right? Somebody, whatever, and that secret is going to be not something nasty or toxic, because of course what the oyster holds on to is beautiful things. So this could be someone who secretly is in love with you, and it's time for them to let that secret out, right? Now, the moth energy is air energy, and the moth is interesting because the moth resonates with that feeling of the grass is always greener on the other side. He's always going, or he or she is always going for the next shiny object. They're very hasty and wishful and unwilling to put the real effort into anything. As soon as there's any signs of tough times, they book for the hills. And so in this way, moth energy, oh, you know, it's at a time in our lives when we resonate with this that we have to just realize that anything worth having is worth working for. You may be realizing that and learning that now, Taurus, but I don't know so much. I don't feel that. I feel like you're dealing with someone who's like that because Taurus is such a hard worker. You know, you're naturally a sign that knows what it takes, that you know. You're naturally one of these people, Taurus, and Taurus energy is one of realizing that anything beautiful that you want to manifest requires hard work. So in this way, I feel like you're dealing with somebody who's resonating with this energy, and you're deciding whether or not you want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Or you may have that heart-to-heart conversation with them and let them know, listen, if you want, whatever you want, you have to work for, including a relationship if you're dealing with someone on that level. Hyena energy is interesting. This is a fire element, and of course, the hyena is associated with someone who has a high level of wit and humor, right? Laughing hyenas, right? Wit, humor, sarcasm, though, right? And this comes in at a time when there is a lot of sarcasm. Sometimes that sarcasm can be biting, though. And the hyena oftentimes uses humor to hide really, really deep pain, emotional pain, or pain to their self-esteem, because it's a fire energy, right? So this is more about how you see yourself, your self-esteem, your fire, your confidence. And someone who's resonating with hyena energy is really hurting inside in a lot of ways. They have a lot of self-esteem issues, but their energy is a little bit distorted, and they oftentimes come across as the great, clown, the class clown, the group clown. They're always, everything's funny, but it can be really difficult to watch sometimes for those of you who are sensitive, because you can see through that, and you can see really that they're hiding something much deeper that really needs to be talked about in a real way without, the humor hiding it, but really to come out and say, look, this is what's really going on. This is how I'm feeling, and it hurts, right? So this is also a kind of healing that needs to happen when you're dealing with hyena energy. And it's just a very specific way you need to go about it because of the way the person is dealing with their pain. All right, Taurus, let's get right into your forecast. We're going to pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card forecasts, just to see what you may or may not be resonating with this week, Taurus. And of course, just take what applies to you and disregard the rest. These forecasts may or may not be related to each other, or be, different stages of the same running theme, and you may or may not resonate with all of them, and that's fine. Taurus, first out, we have 4 of Swords, Hanged Man energy, and 5 of Wands. 4 of Swords certainly talks about coming into the period this week with a very calm and strategic viewpoint about how to go forward. You're being very sort of slow about making your decisions. You're not slow, but you're being very thoughtful, very strategic about a particular scenario, and you get met with a Hanged Man energy. It's quite interesting. I want to say, while you're trying to be sort of strategic, you're calling a truce almost. 4 of Swords is also a feeling of a truce, of like, okay, agreeing to disagree, or agreeing to separate for a little while and go to our respective corners and figure out what we want to do. But you come into this week with this Hanged Man energy, and someone that you're dealing with is just extremely stuck in their ways, right? They're stuck in their ways. Usually Hanged Man energy comes in when someone wakes up also, but this is an energy coming into you from events or people that you're coming up against this week. And so I think in this way, you're seeing them as very stuck in their ways, and you wish for them to have an illumination, but whether they do or not is really up to them. It's quite interesting. I don't think that they do. I think they remain kind of sort of stuck in this kind of lazy, unwilling to move forward. It's interesting because Hanged Man oftentimes is interpreted as someone who is, like I said, stuck, but really it's not that. It's more that they just don't give a fuck. They're not willing to move, If they wanted to, they could. They don't even really put a whole lot of energy into hanging there. This is someone who's kind of like either settled for less, or they've settled for a certain mode of operating that is easy for them rather than making an effort, in a lot of ways. And of course, being in this position stunts them. It stunts their growth, and it stunts their ability to be the best that they can be. But it's, it's they don't, they're unwilling oftentimes, or afraid to move forward, or afraid to put the extra work, or just don't feel like putting the extra work in for whatever reason. And it can be moth energy as well. Just as soon as, they'd rather settle for the easy road than taking the hard road and really coming up off of that square. And you come across this energy, you end up the week bickering. I want to say for some of you, this is just, again, it could very well be a healing family situation, or I'm going to say for some of you, this could very well be a family situation, because 5 of Wands talks about a group sort of dynamic of a lot of bickering. And so for you, I'm going to say for some of you, you may have tried to get back to a situation that you were trying to be strategic about, trying to kind of like come in with the right decision. But because they're being so, somebody's being so stuck in their ways, again, I hate to use that word, but it's true, so sort of lazy about it, unwilling to meet you halfway, that it just kind of, it doesn't necessarily work out this week. And there, you guys continue to have a lot of bickering and arguing. It may just take a little bit more effort and work to get this particular situation to get healed. Chariot, Three of Swords, and the Hermit energy. Okay, so Chariot is Cancer, Hermit is, of course, Virgo, and Taurus. So this week, the Chariot, you're very much working on your life path. The Chariot is all about setting plans in motion, preparing the path. Once the Chariot is engaged, you know, you can't stop it, slow it down, or get it off of the path that it's been set for. But right now, you're at a stage of setting that path, you know, making the preparations, doing everything you can to get ready for this journey because it's about to take off, right? You can see that the Chariot isn't actually in motion yet. The Sphinxes there are just sitting there, right? They're waiting, right? And so once it's engaged, you're waiting for all the preparations to be made. So right now it's all about really laying the groundwork for a great adventure to come, a new path, a new stage in your life. And this week you met with some really kind of deceptive energy. Three of Swords is very sort of like deceptive. It's hurtful. It's hurtful energy. It's someone who hurts you with their words and their actions and the way they treat you, you know. Swords is a mental and communication. It's the way they communicate with you. It's the way they kind of treat you, their lies, the fact that they're not really 100%. And you're met with this kind of energy this week, and I think you decide, Taurus, to move on with your life without them. It's very simple. You come out of this with Hermit energy and you move on with this adventure, an adventure that maybe before you thought you were going to take them on with you. But this week you make this really firm desire not to take them with you because their energy is so nasty. You know, Three of Swords is the type of energy that somebody puts on you to demean your self-esteem. This can be really kind of degrading energy. Cheating on you, lying to you, being dishonest, telling you they love you but they don't, using you. It's all manipulation. It's a Swords card. So not only are you hurt, but you, more than anything, you just feel like somebody played you for a fool or tried to insult your intelligence. And it's really a pain of the ego and the heart. So you move away. You leave. You say, F you, I'm leaving. You know, and you get on with your life. And you move on and on with your own path. And your Chariot moves on without them. Sorry about that. That is motorcycle outside my house riding down the block. All right, next one we have Queen of Cups, Judgment, and Lovers. Again, Judgment has been coming in everywhere, and Judgment talks about reconciliation and forgiveness. And for a lot of you, this is also a period for healthy relationships, or perhaps relationships that were toxic, that have gone through a lot of changes, to come together and to reconcile. People who were toxic, split, and healed are now also part of this period. Is also people coming back together after a period of healing or work and reconciling. So Judgment is everywhere. It's a card that keeps coming in for the weeklies and the monthlies. So you start off this week, Taurus, with a Queen of Cups, in the sense that you know exactly what you want in a particular scenario. This is a love connection. In a love connection, you know exactly what you want. You know your feelings. You know what you want with somebody. And you come into this week being very receptive and very giving also. You want to make something work, and you want the emotions to be clear and open, and you want there to be a clear and open exchange of emotions. Queen of Cups is very healthy emotionally, and so you come into this week with that, a very healthy emotional state that is open and receptive. Now you come across Judgment, which is a sense of forgiveness for some of you. There's a feeling of somebody wanting forgiveness or wanting a reconciliation with you. And you end the week having to make a decision about this connection. Because Lovers is interesting. Lovers is the card for Gemini, and it's also the card for opposites. And with Lovers, we see that here we have two people who have a very, very strong connection, a lover's connection, but they're also two opposites of a whole. And part of this 6 Lovers Major Arcana card is understanding that to have a successful union, right, you have to be able to accept those two halves. You have to be able to accept the good with the bad. And is this the type of union that is going to progress towards harmony, right? I mean, can you guys, live and learn from each other, right? It's this, because is love enough? Love isn't always enough. With lovers, we see that the love and the connection and spark and the attraction may be there, but is the work there? Is the willingness to see each other equally and to learn from each other there to make this work and become a journey towards harmony? Remember, 6 is the number 4, journey towards harmony. And so with lovers, it's a decision. It's making a decision or coming to terms with whether or not you're willing to put your effort into this particular soulmate connection. Does it have what it takes? And is the other person meeting you halfway? And I don't know if you're going to, whatever decision you decide is going to be down to you. But that is, and down to your specific situation, Taurus. But that is the nature of how you end the week. Really trying to decide about a lover's connection, and if you're willing to go all the way with this person, or if you're willing to not do this now. We have 4 of Cups, 2 of Wands, and Empress. So some of you will come into this week. You want to hand somebody a cup of love, Taurus. You're wanting to offer someone a reconciliation or a helping hand, and they just don't take it. They just don't take it. It could be that somebody, you entered this week with a 4 of Cups energy, in the sense that somebody's handing you a cup of love or reconciliation, and you're not willing to take it. You've had enough of their bullshit, perhaps. You just don't feel like the cup that they're handing you is sincere. And oftentimes, 4 of Cups energy can be interpreted a lot of different ways depending on the read, right? But here I just feel like you've had enough. Taurus, I feel with this particular scenario, you've had enough of their flighty ways. You had enough of their shallowness, their wishfulness. And you're met with a 2 of Wands energy in the sense that, by saying no to this, offer, I guess, by saying, look, I want to maintain my own stability, and I don't want you coming in would infringe on that. An energy of really wanting to go forward into the world with your own plans comes in, because you're met with a 2 of Wands energy, and that's a feeling of being ready to take the next step towards your own creative goals. It's almost as if for some of you that had you taken this cup, this energy would have diverted you from a much greater purpose. And you end this week luxuriating. You end this week really coming out on top. Rewards are coming in, blessings are coming in. You feel gorgeous and beautiful. This could very well be someone who you had an argument with or you recently broke up with, and they're wanting to come back and reconcile, and you're not having it, and you're just very much moving on with your life, Taurus. You're moving on with your... And you come out with Taurus energy, because Empress is associated with Venus, and Venus is the planet that is associated with Taurus. So, you know what I mean? It's very beautiful. You come out very much in your own skin. You feel gorgeous. You feel in charge. You feel highly creative. And you feel like you're able to really manifest your creative ideas and bring them into the real world in a very beautiful way. Certainly money and luxury is starting to come in. This is going to be your last spread. 5 of Swords. Fool. A couple of cards came upside down. And Justice. All right, guys. Interesting. I don't read reversals for the week, for the weeklies. 5 of Swords. So you've entered this week really deciding to concede defeat in this particular scenario, right? Somebody, again, and this card came out for the last reading also for actually Sagittarius. You decide to concede defeat with somebody who you just can't stand fighting with anymore. This person is really a nightmare to deal with. They're willing to win at all costs. They don't play fairly. They're very underhanded, and the other people really kind of walk away from the battle in disgust. They throw their swords down, and they're just like, you know what? You win. I'd rather you win than to continue fighting on your terms, because your tactics and your actions are so kind of dishonorable in a lot of ways and indignant. So you come into this week very much like throwing your hands up, conceding defeat, but it's not, doesn't feel bad because this feels very much like taking the high road. And you're met with a full energy, and it's like almost as if you, again, a lot of you, it's this feeling of walking away from toxic energies, the conceding that you don't want to deal with it, and right away the Fool comes in to open up a whole new path for you, a whole new stage in your life that is new and youthful and young and promises to be very exciting and has a lot of potential for being a beautiful new learning curve for you, or a new stage of your life where you're learning something new or you're beginning a new adventure. And of course this comes right in as a result of you walking away from this toxic energy here. You end the week very, very, even, balanced, beautiful. Justice comes in. And so I want to say for a lot of you, good karma comes in. You get your rewards, or events start to favor you. And this often happens as well when we make the right decisions for ourselves. So for those of you who have decided to get away from this toxic energy, it's almost as if the universe comes right in to rebalance your life and to bring sort of reaffirmation in that you've done the right thing, and your blessings begin to come in. And in a lot of ways, your life becomes much more balanced than it was before. And in a very healthy way, obviously. All right, guys, this is your reading for Taurus, November 17th to the 23rd. I am speaking a little bit softer in my readings. I'm trying to conserve my voice. Those of you who are my regulars, on the weekends I upload and do so many readings. And I'm just trying to conserve my voice. So I do apologize if it's a little low today. But again, if you did resonate with this and you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Go ahead and leave me a comment, a thumbs up, and all of that good stuff that helps me continue to grow my channel so I can keep giving you these readings and eat. But for right now, Taurus, I love you so much, and have a wonderful week. Just like all the other signs, getting rid of toxic energies and very, very quickly inviting something wonderful and new into your life. Bye-bye now.